This defense has looked so good on paper, and yet into this contest, they just give it up. They were seventh best in scoring defense coming into this game in the league, and they had obviously a horrific start against the Minnesota Vikings. Since then, they've played rather well, but Daniel Jones that's about the best I've ever seen him play. Daniel Jones played outstanding football today. Saquon Barkley, outstanding football today. Their offensive line, outstanding football today. The Green Bay Packers got beat in the trenches on both sides of the football. They were out physical. They were outplayed. This whole switching up back and forth with Bakhtiari and company did not work. Up the gut, Josh Myers did not look good. Elton Jenkins got it handed to him a couple of times. Just not a great day today. And now you got some things you have to figure out. You're coming back home. You're going to face what we thought would be a bad Jets team, but who the hell knows now? Who knows? Like I had mentioned, the Green Bay Packers in the first half of ball games this season have scored 65 points. You take away the 2 points that were given to them today, and they have scored a total of 25 points. Or excuse me, 27 points in the second half of ball games this year, and in 3 different occasions against the Bears, against the Buccaneers, and against the Giants, they've been shut out in the third quarter. Just, I don't even know what to say. I've defended the defense and Joe Barry and keep it in front of you, but you can't anymore. Guys are running wide open. Seams across the middle are wide open. You're playing coverage on a 2nd and 16. You're playing at 18 yards downfield. I don't know what kind of dumbass math that is, but that's poor. And if that's what you're being told to do by the defensive coordinator, then he obviously can't do math and he needs to go too. And look, I appreciate the fact, and I've said it before, they really don't have a downfield performance. So they try to do it. You got to try to do it. You got to keep defenses honest. But for the most part, I mean, they kept going to it today. They were successful running the football, and then they get away from it. It just – they got beat by a Wildcat. They got beat by a quarterback today who had one bad wheel. Saquon Barkley comes back in after a bad shoulder, still plows through. There's a lot of things here that just, for lack of a better term, are embarrassing if you're a Packers fan. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Find us. Jeff says defensive coordinator outcoached again. Brett says no defense, especially the second half of this ball game. Kevin says your team's so overrated, one and done in the playoffs at best. If you're making that prediction now, Kevin, if considering the way a football season goes, that's kind of ignorant. Drew says you have Dylan. Should have ran the ball in the final drive. Horrible play calling. This is starting to become Matt LaFleur's MO. I don't know if I believe that or not. Matt LaFleur looking like a deer in the headlights. Rick says 3 passes in a row for 3 and out. John, second half let down by LaFleur yet again. Offensive or 0 offensive points. Outscored again this time by a first-year head coach. They really like the deep ball today. Why have I have no idea? I understand what they want to do, but I get what they are trying to do. Yeah, you kind of go through all of this. I agree. Matt LaFleur looked a little lost today. He's had a lot of success early on, but looked a little lost today. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's get right to the phone calls. Jared listening to us in Delaware. Jared, what's going on, man?
Yeah, Bill. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I wish I had better news regarding the Packers. They look lost. Personally, I'm good. I'm okay right now. I haven't lost a blood vessel, but overall it sucks.
Yeah, this is Gerard. But anyway, let me say this. The Green Bay coaching staff puts themselves in a position to be outcoached. That's what it is. LaFleur, look. LaFleur, let's face it. He's not in upper echelon. I don't care how many winning seasons. They got third and 2 at the 4 or 5 yard line or whatever it was down there.
Mm-hmm.
They passed the ball twice. It was just stupid. It's stupid, Bill. We got to face look. Barry and Amari Rodgers shouldn't be on this team after this week. We
Amari
know
Rodgers stinks. He has no use. No use. I agree with you.
None. There's no point to it. But we can't keep making excuses for this stuff anymore. Okay, they were outplayed. You said it all, and I said it during my Twitter. When I was tweeting, the Giants were missing all these guys, just like New England was, and they simply are not motivated. They're not. What is everybody has to think about this? What is it? 60-70% of a coach is motivating his team, isn't it?
Motivating and putting your guys in the right place at the right time to make plays.
There you go. And look at how many guys are open. I'm screaming at the TV going, what? Are you kidding me? Walker is totally misused. He shouldn't even be on the field because he's so misused. He don't even know where to go. Mm-hmm. There was parts in this game where I was wondering if he was shadowing the quarterback or what was he just doing?
No idea.
What was he doing? He was standing there doing nothing. And and look, Douglas, 3 major penalties in this game.
Yeah, Rasul Douglas lost his head a couple of times. Just dumb.
2 holding calls and then the body slam. And then when Gary got the sack at the 15, you had Savage look, Ben Fennell said it perfectly about Savage. It was a mistake picking him in the first round. He's a backup player at his best. He said it before Green Bay drafted him, and it's the truth. He can't cover anybody. And you ever say what was Amos doing? What was Amos doing on when Barkley had the ball in the backfield? What was he doing 40 yards downfield when there was no quarterback in the game? What was he doing?
I don't know.
What was he doing?
I don't. The whole mentality of this defense seems to play soft and keep it in front of you. That's the only thing I can. That's got to be the philosophy: is play soft and keep it in front of you. Just don't allow a big play to get over the top.
What? This is the most talent, Bill, they've had on defense
right?
since I can remember.
And their defensive coordinators a coward.
I totally agree. Totally agree. And then LaFleur says at halftime, well, he mentioned the defense. He goes, we got to go get the ball on defense.
Mm-hmm.
And then what happened? They scored 17 unanswered points.
Yep.
And what happened? Well, why didn't LaFleur walk over to this guy and say, what are you doing?
Right.
It's like they're always trying to play the nice guy. They're always playing and what was Rodgers doing with a back shoulder throw that wasn't even close to being open? I got batted down on 4th down. Why didn't he give the ball to Dillon?
I have no idea why they always put the ball. Now, look, he's the MVP. I get it, but they do not run the ball. If they have a choice to run or pass, they will take pass every damn time. And even if Rodgers got that throw away, it was incomplete because the receiver was completely covered.
Right. And let me ask you a question, just like you keep saying, why on 3rd and 4th down wasn't he under the center? What was the game?
Same thing.
They knew exactly. And then he touches his right shoulder, and the Giants knew where he's going to throw the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see that?
Yep.
Oh, my God, Bill, this is too much anymore. I swear to God, it's too much.
Yep.
It really is. I can't. I hope the Green Bay media actually holds these guys accountable.
Never happened. I want somebody to ask Matt LaFleur, while you have been outscored 27 points in the second half of ball games, while you've been shut out in 3 different third quarters, you've given up 23, 24, 19, and 30. You're allowing mass points in every quarter defensively, and you get shut out basically in the third quarter and fourth quarter ball games. And they talk about, halftime adjustments don't matter, and this. Well, somebody's adjusting at half, and it's not you. Your opponent is, exactly, and you don't have an answer for it, and you look like a lost deer in the headlights, and your defensive coordinator sucks.
And, the only guy that holds him that should be in the locker room asking questions is your guy, Eric Baranchak. He talks more like what the fans see, and we all see the same thing. He comes on the show and he says it. He should be in there asking questions.
I would agree. The lame ass, well, I'm not going to blame the media. I mean, the media tries to ask questions. Matt LaFleur gets snippy and testy, and then if you ask too tough a question, they want to throw you out because that's the way Red China is, man. Gerard, I appreciate the phone call. Thanks so much. 877-867-1670. Let's get back to the phones and go right back to it. We got Austin on the line. Austin, welcome to the program and the Green and Gold postgame show.
Oh, man, Bill, what a horrible game. Jeez, the second half, I mean, ugh.
The Packers, I can't figure out. The Packers lost to a team that had only three wide receivers able to play. They lost all four corners. They lost three of their offensive linemen and had a quarterback with a bad wheel and still lost. I can't. This isn't comprehensible.
Was out here and there too.
And then in that case, they take a defensive coordinator who decides no pressure on the quarterback. Let's just try to get home consistently before. I can't figure it out.
I don't want to sound like I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but when are we going to have one game where we can adjust in the second half? I mean, we see it watching it on our couches at home. I just don't know why the coaches can't see it.
I know.
And I mean, it's just unbelievable how they can't adjust at all. And like similar to last year, we know what the problem is. We see what the problem is. It's with this defense, and it's with this offense who's can't adjust as well, and similar to last year, where it's like with the special teams, we know what the problem is. Now, I guess the only thing to look forward to here is that this is week 5, not the divisional round against San Francisco. You would hope that these coaches, these players would see what we're seeing and be like, you know what, maybe we should try doing something different on this end, or this is how we make adjustments. I just don't know. I don't know. I don't see it. I can only hope. But we can identify these issues, but I don't know why they can't. I don't.
That's a great question.
It just boggles my mind.
And the worst part is, and you hit it on the head, and others have said it too, is we all can see it. You can see that in the second half of ball games, you basically are clueless. They've adjusted to the point that you can't do anything, and all you want to do is go shotgun and throw the ball. And I wish somebody just say, Matt LaFleur, here's the amount of times you're in shotgun. Here's the amount of times you're under center. Here's the amount of times under the center you do one or the other. And here's the amount of times under center you run the ball. It's not even creative anymore.
Right. And it's like you take a look at that last drive that they had, minus the last 2-3 plays they had in the red zone. I was like, wow, this is actually a good, controlled, methodical, like we're not rushing up. We're not going for the long ball. We're going to play for a touchdown and maybe get into overtime here. But no, I mean, they cap it off, and last 2 plays, you're like, what the heck are you doing? You know, if you're not going to get it on third down, you're going to go for it on fourth down. Why don't you have the run as an option? Why don't you get some smart plays going, so you can position yourself for touchdown and maybe overtime here? I didn't get it. It was so. We got so outplayed in the second half, but I think a lot of it was because we beat ourselves.
Yep.
The Giants didn't beat us today. We beat ourselves.
I would 100% agree with that, man. Appreciate the phone call. Thanks for giving us a buzz. Yeah, I go back to it. Mark says, what about the second half of ball games? What have the Green Bay Packers done? Basically nothing. The Packers haven't done much of anything. They have put up 65 points in the first half of ball games. In the second half of ball games, nowhere near that. In the third quarter of 3 games, against the Bears, against the Buccaneers, and today again against the Giants, they've been shut out in the third quarter. They've scored a total of 17 points this season in the third quarter of ball games. 17. And without that safety today, without the safety today, they would have scored a total of 10. 27 points is all they put up in the second half of ball games. Their opponents, 49. They've been outscored 22 points in the second half, and they've outscored the opponents 65-47 in the first half of ball games. The Packers have put up 45 points in the second quarter so far this season. Only the game against the Vikings did they not put up a score in the second quarter. Otherwise, it's 21-7, 7, and 10. And all of a sudden, then it was funny. I was on Twitter today, if you were following me, and people were saying, oh, they're up 20-3, and it's going to keep going. And then all of a sudden, the Giants started to leak back. And I don't know who said it, and whoever said it, I apologize for not giving you credit, because somebody had said, wait till the second half because the Packers can't score and they're going to give up the same amount of points. Damn if it wasn't foreshadowing. Man, oh, man. I don't know who is calling the plays. I really don't. I'm getting a lot of that over on the Bud Light live stream, and I'm getting a lot of that on Twitter. I don't know who's calling the plays. I don't know if it's Rodgers. I don't know if he's changing it. I don't know if that's the Matt LaFleur offense. I don't get it. I don't know. It's bad. consistently going downfield when you don't have a downfield threat, consistently in the shotgun when you're telling everybody basically what you're doing all the time. I don't get it. When you do execute the offense, you got a couple of runs, you're under center a couple of times, even if it's just the first couple, you're giving them a different look. But just shotgun pass, 3 and out, shotgun pass, shotgun stutter step run, third and long, out. And then, again, I go back to second and 16, and you're playing your corners, one corner and 2 safeties, 17, 18 yards downfield. And then you had a crossing pattern over the middle for 18 yards. You pick up the first down, and everybody's like, I can't believe they got that. No, I can believe they got that because their defense was so far downfield. Somebody's got to ask Joe Barry, Joe, why, when you only need 10 yards for a first down, are you playing 12, 15 yards down the field? Why? And then on the snap, you're backpedaling. What are you backpedaling for? You're already 12 yards off the ball. What are you backpedaling for? You afraid somebody's going to come up behind you and give the opponent a beer? Don't get it. Don't get it. Matt LaFleur has been out coached now in more than a few games so far this season. No wonder he's testy. He has a right to be because other people have figured him out, I guess. Other than that, I have no idea. Bad loss for the Green Bay Packers. What we're going to do is we're going to step away. A lot of people on a Bud Light live stream. Keep it coming. Want to hear from you. Love hearing from you. Keep that going. We're going to keep getting all your. By the way, I agree with you. Watson, Christian Watson. What's he here for? Amari Rodgers. What's he here for? Just another third-round bust. Amari Rodgers needs to go. He's terrible. 2 fumbles so far on punch yet this season. He just every now and then will give you a little bit of a flash of what he's capable of, but then he'll remind you over and over again why he's a bust. I guess Christian Watson is going to be the next guy to come in and take over. Now, I'm not ripping Christian Watson to say he's total bust. I shouldn't do that because he's only 5 games now into his rookie career. Okay? I understand that. He's going to develop. He's got more time. But Amari Rodgers, put somebody else out there. Just get rid of him. They don't use him in the offense. Just get rid of him. He's not any kind of a specialist. More of the Green and Gold postgame show next.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Green and Gold postgame show brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. They are the official beer sponsor of the Bill Michaels Sports Talk Network. Think of this. The Packers, in the second half of this game today, put up a 101 yards. Okay? In the second half, 101 yards. But 69 of those yards came on that final drive, which means the Green Bay Packers, in the second half, barring the final drive, put up a whopping 32 yards. 32 yards. Say it with me, my friends. Okay, we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. That sucks. There you go. There you go. Packers get beat today, knocked off by the Giants. I'll say this. Paul Charchian said it best. If you take the summary of the Green Bay Packers season, destroyed by Minnesota in week 1, an easy win over Justin Fields and the Bears in week 2, a narrow win over the injured Tampa Bay Buccaneers in week 3, nearly lost to Bailey Zappi in week 4, and they lost to a one-legged Daniel Jones who had 3 less wide receivers, no cornerbacks, and 3 less offensive linemen. Now, I ask you, is this team a playoff team? Is this team a good team? Is this team one of the top 3 teams in the NFC? Not right now, they're not. Doesn't mean they can't be, but not right now, they're not. Penalties, stupidity, poor play calling, all of it cost this team. All of it cost this team. Let's get back at it. Let's go to Josh. Josh, welcome to the program, the Green and Gold Postgame Show. Josh, how you doing today, man? What's up?
A little stressed out. There's not enough old-style beer to take this thing out today.
Right.
This was horrific. Again, you felt that the last few weeks, they're starting to piece things together. Rodgers is getting more comfortable with receivers. And supposedly this top 5 defense. So you felt this game might be 100% a complete game. They started out gangbusters, a lot of positivity, and then they just poop the bed. I don't get it how they fall so flat, how, they're getting shut out in third, fourth quarters, no adjustments. And then to have that banged up of a Giants O-line and they just march down the field, it's just flustered is beyond the word. So I hope they make some drastic changes. They're certainly not a playoff team at this point. There's no way. So
No, not one that's actually going to do anything. Even if they get there, they may get there by default, but not one that's going to really cause anybody at least not right now, not one that's going to cause anybody any kind of a threat. I agree with you. Appreciate the phone call. Think about this. That vaunted Green Bay Packers defense on paper, 6 of 11 the Giants were today, 54.5% on third down. That Joe Barry defense playing off the ball and giving up first down yardage consistently, somebody, I'm begging you, ask Matt LaFleur why. I'm begging you. Ask him why. Ask him why. Is that the philosophy? What purpose does that serve? Begging. Giants 32-11 as opposed to the Packers time of possession 27-49. Packers drives went like this today. Field goal, punt, touchdown, then a field goal. And you're thinking, rolling, man, right? Rolling. Punt, gave it up on downs, end of the game. Sacked. Punt, gave it up on downs, end of the game on a sack. Their defense started out rather well. Punt, three and out. Then they gave up a field goal. Then they gave up that long drive for a touchdown before half. Then another long drive in 3 consecutive drives, by the way. The Giants went 11 plays, 81 yards, 11 plays, 56 yards, 15 plays, 86 yards. And then 6 plays, 63 yards, and then ultimately the safety. Touchdown, field goal, touchdown. They only punted twice today. That was the first 2 drives. After that, they did what they wanted to do. They ran the ball. They won in the trenches. Just bad. Bad play today. Bad play today. By the way, your leading tackler today was Quay Walker. Let's do this. Let's take a break. We'll get back every 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Everybody on the Bud Light live stream, I'm going to get to you. I promise. We're going to start getting your comments in as well. Stay tuned. The Green Bay Packers beaten today. Beaten today. Can I say that? They were beaten in every phase. Beaten in the trenches. Beaten offensively. Beaten defensively. Outcoached. Go walk Abbey Road. Go have a feel good. Do your pints of Guinness and everything, because this was a business trip and you failed. 27-22. They get knocked off by the Giants. Packers 3-2. Giants 4-1. Packers have a long flight home. More of the Green and Gold postgame show coming up after this. One of the worst things that you can hear, you have cancer. The worst is when you hear the words, your child has cancer. When a child is diagnosed with cancer, it changes their world. Sometimes they can't even do things that they really love, like playing soccer, riding a bike, going to prom, attending school. Children with cancer spend a lot of time away from others. Time in the hospital, treatments, tired, nauseous, and they feel isolated. That's where Special Spaces Wisconsin steps in. They provide these children with a special space where they can not only sleep, but they can play, they can heal, they can spend time away from the challenges of their illness. It's a customized bedroom designed just for them. How about a princess castle or a pirate ship or a sports-themed bedroom? They transform that child's existing bedroom into a place that only he or she can imagine, a place for them just to be a kid. This effort is done with teams of dedicated volunteers and sponsors, just like our friends from Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin and all the community partners. If you'd like to find out more or to donate, go to specialspaces.org. That is specialspaces.org.
Your work-life balance is important to you, and Sutton Transport agrees. Sutton Transport offers a 5-day work week, same start times daily, and you'll be home nightly and weekends. Sutton Transport is now hiring CDL drivers. Enjoy some of the best benefits in the industry, consistent year-round work, twice-a-year wage increases, and enjoy your family time you deserve. That is work-life balance. The road to success is with Sutton Transport. Apply online at suttontrans.com.
Want to save even more at Fleet Farm? Well, now you can with Fleet Rewards. It's free to sign up, and there's no credit card required. Using Fleet Rewards is easy. Earn points every time you shop. Plus, get exclusive member offers, birthday and anniversary perks, free tire rotations, and more. Download the Fleet Farm app or create an account at fleetfarm.com/rewards to start earning points today. Fleet Farm, proudly serving the Midwest since 1955.
Blue 58, go! Green 18, Green 19, touch! This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Packers get knocked off 27-22. I said that correctly. They go to London and got beat 27-22. They get knocked off by the New York Giants, and anybody ask me or answer me the question. Somebody, please, for the love of God, ask Matt LaFleur. 3rd and 13, why is your defense playing 16 yards downfield and then backpedaling on the snap? Please tell me, what philosophy? Where in a book did you get that? Somebody had to say this was cool. I don't know if it's the new math. I don't know if it's the political ads that are bombarding us, that are screwing up your brains. I have no idea. Somebody tell me why you do that. 3rd and 13, defensive backs, 13, 15, 16 yards downfield, and then on the snap, they're backpedaling. Please, God, tell me why. Please, God, tell me why. Can't figure it out. Shotgun, pass. You got all these different things on 2 short plays down near the goal line. And instead, it's Aaron Rodgers tapping shoulders. Everybody knows. Go to the right, throw to a covered guy, get the pass batted down, shotgun, shotgun, shotgun. No motion, no two-back set, no threat to run, no creative play calling. It's horse blank. You were out-coached, Matt LaFleur. You get testy at the media now? My ass. My ass. It was poor. Unbelievably poor. 877-867-1670. 867-1670. Matt LaFleur after the... Let's take a listen to this giant steaming pant load of nothing, of red China garbage coming out of Matt LaFleur. Let's take a listen. Here it is.
No, we had a run pass option on, and they loaded the box and went cover zero, and we figured that's what they're going to do. And unfortunately, had two bad passes.
Passing plays, 20 running plays, Coach. Did you anticipate it being that favored in front of into the passing game?
It just depended upon what they were giving us. You know, like I said, we had a lot of run pass cans, and they played a lot of single high and manned us up. And it's, do you want to run into a loaded box, or do you want to try to get it through the air? And unfortunately, that didn't work for us. So, like I said, give credit. Winks, a guy I got a lot of respect for, and he outcoached us in the second half, and they outplayed us.
Do you feel like you abandoned your identity a little bit there with all the running, or did you make the right calls?
Yeah, I got to look at it, but certainly, when the results don't go your way, it's only fair. You could argue we scored no points in the second half. So obviously, the plan that and the play calls that I gave weren't good enough.
Defensively as well, Matt, from obviously such a strong start, how did they move the ball so easily in the second?
Yeah, I got to go back and look at the tape. It seemed like there were some timely, costly penalties on our part that gave them, life on some drives, and you can't do that in this league.
Coach, given fundamentals, discipline, technique, film study, what would be the biggest downfall in today's game?
All of the above, everything. It wasn't good enough. So again, give New York all the credit. Mike Kafka, Brian Dayball, their players, going out there and coming up with a good plan and then out executing. And that's what happens in this league. And if you don't come ready to play, and not that we didn't come ready to play, but they obviously out executed us in the second half. And, like I told our team, it's just disappointing, but we can't let one loss compound into another.
Connect on some of the deep stuff.
Yeah, I got to go back and look at it.
Compared to the last 2 years, Matt, how do you feel about the team this year? Obviously, the record was great.
Well, certainly there's been a lot of struggles, and that is this league. And we just got to be more consistent, because there's some moments where we look pretty good, but we have yet to put together a complete game as a team. It's like every game has been one good half, and that's not good enough in this league. You gotta play every play like it's your last, and if you don't, you get your ass whipped.
So on the game plays, do you want it always by the book, or are there times where maybe you should?
No, Aaron does a great job with that stuff of calling what we want.
Do you think complacency kicked in a little bit because of obviously the big
No,
lead?
not in our mindset. No.
Seems like one of the things that did work was to get the ball more to Randall. And I know Aaron had talked about that this week. Was that sort of a bigger part of the game plan today, or did it just?
I think it just kind of happened naturally. He took advantage. We thought, he won some matchups, and unfortunately, we didn't get him the ball enough. Obviously.
What do you attribute the run defense to, particularly in the second half?
Excuse me, can you say it one more time?
What do you attribute the struggle on run defense to, particularly in the second half?
Everything. I mean, I got to go back and look at it. So I can't name one thing for you right now, but I just know that I thought there were some times where we had them in some longer yardage situations, and they were able to convert on some long third downs. And you can't do that. You can't do that in this league. And we had coming in, we had the top third down defense in the league, and just didn't execute in the second half.
That's good. Thank you.
There you go. That's pretty much it. That's pretty much it. Okay, there you go. That's it. We don't want to talk about it anymore. We don't want to talk about a loss. Red China. Don't talk about it. Can't ask a question. I don't know. Go look at the film. Can't ask a question. You've gotten your asses handed. The whole thing, that statement, and I just tweeted that. He said, we have played well in moments. We have yet to put a full game together. I agree with that. But you haven't played well in moments. You play the first half, you don't play bad. Second half, you stink. Why? Why? I'm surprised they don't shut the internet down in Green Bay so nobody can talk about it. Why? Can you tell us why? What are teams doing to you, man, that suddenly you feel the need to become pass happy, you abandon the run, you ignore what was working, you get throw happy, you allow Aaron Rodgers to continually just winging around he's the MVP. I get it. He's a tremendous player. He's smarter than the average bear, but we also all know he's unbelievably selfish and pass happy. You're 3rd and 2, 2nd and 2, and you don't run the ball. It's what got you there. The old adage in football is do it until they stop you. And then when they stop you, you can do it one more time just to see if they really got you stopped. And you just abandon it. I don't get it. 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. I think we got Bob on the line. Bob, welcome to the program, man. What's happening?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for the line. I've been listening to you and your audience, and they pretty much, there's not a whole lot I can add to this. But I do want to, since you played the LaFleur presser afterwards, I mean, tell me something. Is that the most overused line in professional football? I got to look at the tape.
Yeah.
Bill, I don't have to look at a tape to see to know I've had my ass handed to me.
Right.
The deal with LaFleur that absolutely is mind-boggling is that this isn't just one game. This has been the buildup since the end of training camp. This mindset of we're just going to pass because that's the sexy thing to do, right? Because this is the way the NFL is tooled up, when in fact we've got a great running attack. A great one, not even a good one. We've actually got a great running attack. Maybe not Saquon Barkley, but we're good. And yet he fails time and time and time again to even address that. And I guess where I'm frustrated at the absolute most, and I put this one at LaFleur's feet completely. We can sit there and talk about Joe Barry. You know what? That guy's been on thin ice since the first time he got into Green Bay. So this isn't like an anomaly. If you look back to his first year, he was doing the same crap. It's almost like I'll throw it at the wall, I'll see what sticks, and play it soft because we want everything in front of us. That doesn't work even against the worst teams in the league. It's almost like a prevent defense that they're playing in the second half altogether. I guess where I look at it, if they were to make the playoffs again, and you know what, that's a long way away. They could switch this all around next week for all I know. But in the meantime, what that man, that's the head coach, he needs to look in the mirror. Because I'll tell you what, he can give New York Giants all the credit. They get all the credit, right, Bill?
Right.
Because we sure as hell weren't complicit, and just making it a little easier and a little better for them. After all, they're only the 28th ranked team in the league against the run.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Matt LaFleur ought to be ashamed of himself because he didn't give his team, he didn't put them in a position to succeed. And again, Bill, thanks for the line. I'll let you go.
All right, appreciate it. Give that man a Tylenol. Love it. Give that man a Tylenol. Woo! That's fire. Angry, upset, and everybody can see it. You got a pretty good team. You got a lot of the same personnel, and you've added to it. We are, the only difference is this year, no Devontae. Other than that, everything's gotten either the same or better. That's it. Even your special teams were flawless today. Hey, you got 14 seconds. Haul ass out there. Set up. Kick a field. Did you know that Mason Crosby's 6 for 6 this year? 6 for 6. Even your special teams. Get out on the field. Get there. 6 seconds. 7 seconds. 4 seconds. 5. Throw the uprights. Yes. Special teams was good. The only one that's actually earning his paycheck is Bisaccia. Short of the fact that they keep running Amari Rodgers out there. I keep thinking every time I hear about Amari Rodgers being back there, I keep going, oh, which way did he go, George? Woo! 877-867-1670. 877-867-1670. Let's get back at it. Let's go back to the phone calls one more time. Let's go to Chris. Chris, welcome to the program, man. What's going on?
Hey, Bill. Thanks for the call.
You bet.
Thanks for taking the key to the city in Viroqua. Saw you do that. It was
awesome. My
great
pleasure.
thing
Was
to be a
awesome.
part of. Thanks for coming to our area. Really appreciate it. But the only thing I had to say about was we lose games like we should be winning them. Our running back duo, the only running back duo in the NFL to have 1,000 yards and 5+ TDs. They showed that before the game. And we're losing these games with these guys sitting on the sideline or pass blocking. Why is the ball not in their hands? And how does our defense make every other quarterback look like an NFL MVP? But I appreciate your time. Thanks for coming to our area.
No, I appreciate it.
And take care.
Thanks, pal. Appreciate it. Had a great time in Viroqua. We'll talk a lot more about that tomorrow. But thanks to the mayor, Justin Running, obviously the state representative, Lauren. God, his last name, boy, it's terrible. I forgot. Oldenburg, Lauren Oldenburg. Thanks to him. Thanks to the city. They treated us great. And yes, they did. They gave us a key to the city, which was really awesome. It was a really wonderful thing. And it was an honor that I had no idea was coming. Absolutely none. Zero. It was awesome. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's do this. We're going to go ahead and take a quick break. We're going to come back. We got a ton of people on the Bud Light live stream. We got a lot of people chiming in. I want to try to get to all of you. Pete says, you watch teams like the Giants just methodically go up and down the field, and it's always 3rd and 10 for Green Bay, and then a punt. Alfonso says the coaching staff is the worst. Aaron Rodgers through 5 games, very mediocre, very average, according to Pete. You've got Christopher. Amari Rodgers is a bust, was drafted as a wide receiver, has done nothing but fumble punt returns. Frank says, I have a feeling Rodgers will be cut when Hill comes off the IR. That's the reason we're all waiting for Kylan Hill to come off the IR. I would assume that Amari Rodgers is probably on his way out the door. Chris says, did Savage recover his jockstrap? When Saquon Barkley on that big one on the outside gave him that little juke, I said, I tweeted that out. I said, yeah, when he gets back to Green Bay, right there on that corner over there is Dick's Sporting Goods. Stop over to Dick's Sporting Goods, and somebody at Dick's Sporting Goods stop over and pre-order one, have it sitting there for curbside pickup. So that way, when they get off the plane, they just go swing right through and grab it and then head to the stadium and get everybody back to the car. Pick up a jock for Darnell Savage Jr. Just put out all sizes out there. I don't know what he carries, but just go ahead and give him a jock because it's still laying over there in London. Just an FYI. Amari, a professional fair catcher on punt returns. Pete says, seriously, go scan the waiver wire and find a pure return man like we did with the playoff game last year. Noticeably better. Fair catch, fumble, Amari Rodgers. Ronald says, why do you want Rodgers back then if you knew he wouldn't throw to the rookies? A great quarterback takes the time. Because you know why, Ronald? Because Jordan Love stinks. Aaron Rodgers is your best shot to win. And if anybody thinks different, you're crazy. He just is. You know? Tom says this is the Crosby redemption tour. That I'll agree with. Mason Crosby, 6 for 6. 6 for 6. Alan A. says Joe Barry stinks. Nate says the dude can rant. Love it. Spot on. I think he's talking about me. And that's just because I was, my hair was flying. Frank says, I try not to worry too much about what a coach says. It's what they actually do and how prepared the team is, how you adjust and what the other team does, how they can exploit you and exploit the other team's weaknesses. I agree. I 100% agree. And John says LaFleur is a coddler. He makes up excuses for Aaron Rodgers, for his defensive coordinator as well. Susie says they always adjust to us, but we don't adjust anything to them, and it's getting old. On that note, everybody in the Bud Light live stream, you the man. And Susie, you're the woman. There you go. Packers lose today, get knocked off by the Giants, get out coached, get out played, get out everything short of special teams, and it stunk. Even the special teams, though. The long-haired punter ran out of the end zone for the safety, thus pretty much ending the hopes of the Green Bay Packers as he then punted the ball away on the free kick with only about 5 seconds to go in the game. And with those 5 seconds, Aaron Rodgers ran around, got hit, got sacked, ball flies in the air. Fat guys are running with a football. Whistles have been blown, but fat guys are going to continually run because anytime a fat guy gets a football, they just want to run with it. They want to try to do something with it. They want to act. And then when everybody else stops, fat guys look faster. So they continue to go. By then, everybody's laughing and saying, no, the game's over, so please stop. You're making a fool of yourself. And that's the way the game ended. Got a lot more of the Green and Gold postgame show coming up right after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Packers lose. Packers fans' blood pressure through the roof. Joe Barry's ineptitude on display. Matt LaFleur's deer-in-the-headlight looks continue. Aaron Rodgers tweaks hand at the end of the ball game. Just some of the headlines coming out of London. We are brought to you by our friends at Bud Light. They bring you the Green and Gold postgame show. And thanks to Bud Light for years of support. Appreciate it. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. If you want to give us a shout, please feel free to do so. Can we stop with the Jordan Love talk? Seriously? Can we stop? I had one guy that wanted to see Aaron Rodgers get hurt on the final play of the game so he can't start the rest of the season. Maybe he broke his wrist. Come on. Really? That's where you're at? You think that Jordan Love's going to come in and suddenly start beating teams? winging the ball all over the place. The only thing Jordan Love will do is run the plays that are there in front of him. That's it. That's it. He's not a better quarterback. He's not a better passer. He doesn't have a stronger arm. Just stop. So this has nothing to do with Jordan Love. It just doesn't. 877-867-1670. Let's hit us up again. 877-867-1670. I want to hear from you if you want to chime in. Let's do this. Let's go to Scott. Scott, welcome to the program. How are we looking?
Hello?
Scott, go ahead, man.
Sorry, man. My phone cut out. I didn't know it was on or not. Hey, yeah, thanks for taking my call, Bill. A couple of your callers kind of hit it on the head. I think I'm tired of seeing the offensive line get kind of pushed around a little bit. The receivers aren't getting open. Amari Rodgers, trash. Joe Barry, trash. Here's a thought. Why not just cut Amari Rodgers now and just bring in Odell Beckham and start teaching him the playbook so that when he is ready 100%, he can step right in and give us more of a veteran presence on the offensive line and maybe even a deep threat. Who knows, coming off that injury. But I'm tired of also, like somebody else said, like LaFleur coddling Aaron Rodgers. Remember all that criticism he took at the NFC Championship game for not leaving the ball in Rodgers' hands at the end of the game?
Mm-hmm.
I think he's so scared to face scrutiny from the media again that he is willing to coddle Rodgers, put the ball in his hands. I had the game cast on. I was away from my home during the game, and I saw at the end of the game at that last drive, pass on 3rd and 2 down on the goal line, pass on 4th and 1 down on the goal line, and I'm looking at my son and my wife. I'm like, they did not just throw the ball twice inside the 5,
mm-hmm.
When all you needed was like one down. So it just is, you're right, it's getting so old. Rodgers, just get him out of there. Not Aaron Rodgers, Amari Rodgers.
Yeah.
Sign Odell Beckham Jr. before somebody. And last thing, since I'm down here in Dallas, I have this sickening feeling that McCarthy is a lame duck coach, and they're just waiting to sign Sean Payton. And I'm seeing a downtrend with the Packers slipping into mediocrity, and I don't want that to happen. It seems like LaFleur's got some Paul Chryst-itis, and I think the Packers ought to make a play for Sean Payton before it's too late. That guy has high-powered offenses, and LaFleur, wasn't he the offensive coordinator in Tennessee where he was just mediocre at best?
Yeah, but the bottom line is he's got wins over the last few years, and he's got an NFC Championship game, and they're not going to dump him, not after this one season. I agree with you. I think that, Sean Payton is an incredible coach. I think he's got a great mind. I think he's got a will to win. I don't think he wants to take over a team with Aaron Rodgers possibly leaving. I would say he probably wants to coach Dallas and Dak Prescott and keep him around a while. But I 100% agree with you. The coddling of whatever's going on, we're never going to get a real answer. But Matt LaFleur is going to be the guy that's going to be up there taking the questionable bullets. I'll tell you that right now, because it's obvious. It's to you, to me. What the hell are you doing when you've got two backs who are averaging over 4 yards a carry at 3rd and 2 and 4th and 2, and you're throwing the football? Why? All right, and that also says that's also an indictment of your offensive line, basically saying they don't have the ability to give me 2 yards because they had a zero look. I can't buy that.
Yeah, and how does AJ do it though? Probably. I mean, that's why they brought this dude in to truck people down on the goal line. He's standing on the sideline.
Thank you very much.
What does LaFleur think about me? Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate the phone call. He's right. He's right. He's got it. Bam. Hammer. Nailhead. Bam. What are you doing? You're not even bringing him on the field to give him a look. I know. I get it. 877-867-1670. Frank says, I wonder if this is how Vikings fans felt in the 90s when their teams would go out and get out coached so often. I haven't felt like my team was the best coached going into games since Holmgren and Fritz. Dale says, Royce Newman getting overwhelmed at times. Jenkins isn't an offensive tackle and put Josh at right tackle. Your thoughts? I agree. Look, if Matt LaFleur is a man of his word, and he keeps saying, we're going to put the best 5 out there, we're going to look at the film and put the best 5 out there, then why aren't you doing it? Why aren't you doing it? Now, maybe they will once David Bakhtiari is full go. But I'll tell you this, you got more games coming up with field turf. So whether it was the swelling in the knee over in England because of the long trip or the field turf that scares you, if you keep coaching scared, I get having players' health at the top of your interest. I understand that. But either you can go or you can't. At what point do you say you just got to go? You got to go play. We're coming up on 2 years here. I understand the take it easy, manage it, getting through the season, but you got to put your best 5 out there. Elton Jenkins has got to move down to guard. Josh Neiman out to right tackle. Then you got John Runyon at your left guard. David Bakhtiari at your left tackle. And then if Myers keeps getting his ass handed to him, then you got to make some kind of a decision over there at the center position. But regardless, you just quit flapping gums, man. Just play your best 5. Play defense the way it's supposed to be played. And quit saying, well, I don't know. We had this look and we had this and we had to run. In other words, what he should have said was, it was a run-pass option. Aaron chose to throw the ball because of a 0 look. It failed both times. The next follow-up question would be, well, if you've got a good run game, and that's what kind of got you down there, and that's what drove the train in the first half of this ball game, why would you not at least take one shot at running the football to pick up the first down and thus keep the drive alive instead of trying to go to the end zone both times? Why not just take what the defense gives you? Why not just try to get the first down and keep the drive alive, get it into overtime, and then win the game that way? Why can't you run you know why? Because Red China. That's when suddenly the lights will go out and the internet goes down and suddenly the microphones don't work and, they'll flip the switch. 877-867-1670, 877-867-1670. Let's do this. When we come back, we'll hear from Aaron Rodgers and some of the thoughts that he has. We're going to hear from Mike Clemens. We're going to hear more from you. This is, for lack of a better term, this is a pissed off Sunday. That's what this is. More coming up after this.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 5 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 4 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 2 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
Welcome back. Green and Gold postgame show continues, and the Green Bay Packers get beat over in London. They get knocked off by the Giants in ugly fashion, 27-22, a game in which, now remember this, the Giants were missing 3 of their starting 6 wide receivers. After the injuries during the game, they were missing 3 starting offensive linemen. Their quarterback was questionable all week with a bad ankle. They lost Saquon Barkley for a short period of time during the game. They lost, whether it was coming into the game or during the game, all 4 starting cornerbacks. And they still got beat. Aaron Rodgers after the game. Let's take a listen. We got Aaron? There we go.
Questions for Aaron? How did rule book you done?
Could have started a little faster. I think I missed Romes in the first drive for a big one. Then we had some opportunities in the second half, but we probably could have chosen Cobby there on the last play and had a higher percentage throw.
Obviously, that trend of having one good half, one bad half continued today. You didn't have that many drives in the second half, but did they change anything defensively that gave you problems, or what happened there?
No, not really. Maybe just a couple more plays of pressure. It was just, those 2 drives hurt us. We had a decent drive to get down there, first drive of the second half, and then sack on third down, and then 3 and out with 2 opportunities to make plays on the next drive. And by the time we knew it, we were down 7.
You run through the last 2 plays, what you saw, what you thought happened?
Yeah, I mean, I liked the calls. We had Cobby on the left side. I was trying to fit it through the, kind of the sea of arms there. Felt like we might have had a chance on the in-breaker. And then 4th down was trying to throw kind of a big body ball to Allen. Maybe should have adjusted AJ to block that guy off the edge. Like I said, probably could have thrown the ball to Cobby on the left sideline.
Right now, the one that you just mentioned, were you guys trying to get back into the game right away in the sense of like, just watch your defense, 8 minutes on the field to give up a touchdown? Are you just trying to create something there?
Well, I feel like we had 3 good calls. We had a call we hit early in the game for 8 yards. We came back to it. I made a subtle adjustment. I'm not sure what happened outside, if Rome went a little bit too deep or if he just turned his guy around and ran into Allen, but we were going to have a good shot to Allen there down the sidelines. Second down, a play that we hit early in the game as well that we liked, had a chance. Ball was a little bit high to Cobby. And then third down, another play that we like. Probably a more catchable ball would have been a couple yards short on that one. But I like those 3 calls. I feel good about all those. We got to hit one of those to give our defense a little more rest and kind of turn the tide back in our favor.
What's missing on some of the deeper shots that you just haven't played?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we're just not quite on the same page at times. I don't know. We got to go back and look at it. I don't want to make a blanket statement right now. Definitely not an emotional blanket statement. So I'll just withhold that and maybe talk about it on Wednesday a little bit if you get back and get some sleep, Rob, and remember that question.
Jair was just saying he's not concerned about the defense yet, but he will be if you guys lose next week. Are you concerned about the offense yet?
No. And frankly, I don't like all this conversation about losing next week. I'm a firm believer in the power of words and manifestation, and we got to check ourselves on that because talking about that that's not winning football. There was conversation about it in the locker room, and I don't like it. And Josh's my guy, but we don't need to be talking like that. I understand there's a reality in this game, and there's a win and a loss every single game, but there's also a reality in life that what you're putting your energy towards, that's where your focus is going to go. So I'm not going to address prospects of losing up here other than we just lost this game. Offensively, we haven't put 2 halves together. There's a lot that factors into that. Everything from calls to execution to the momentum to defensive stops to adjustments that we make that are good or shouldn't make. But it's a lot of execution. There's games like this where our defense is not going to be up to their normal standards, and we got to pick them up. We had chances, a lot of chances. So definitely the offense. This one will weigh heavy on us on this flight back.
Back to the 3 and out in the second half.
Mm-hmm.
I get that you really liked all those plays, but I am wondering, considering who you guys are this year, is that still the right way to go, or do you need to back off on that just because it's less of your identity this season?
Yeah, I mean I understand what you're going. I can't say that I love that line of questioning, but you make a good point, Pete. I think it's something to think about. Again, I'm not making those calls. I do like all 3 of those calls, 100%. And I felt like we were really close to executing. The difference between a ball that's high and a ball that's on Cobby is the difference between a 3 and out and who knows, and being up here and answering that question. So that's the beauty in this game is that it comes down to some very small dimensions between winning and losing. But it's a valid point you make. But we get a call, we try and execute it, and there was at least 2 opportunities to get first downs there.
I've met fans from across the world the last few days.
And then you.
I've met fans from really across the world, one guy from Switzerland. What would you say to your new fan base? I mean, you guys seem to have synergy with Europe.
Well, first of all, we're sorry. We wanted to come here and put on a show and win a football game. The crowd was outstanding. I mean, this was just a fantastic experience, I think, for all of us. There's guys in that locker room that never been across the pond, and just the hospitality from the fans when we were out. Me and Alan on Friday was outstanding. The crowd response today, taking the field, was incredible. Seeing the different flags from different countries was amazing. The fans were.
There you go. Aaron Rodgers talking. I want to go back to something that was stated. Did you hear what he said? Pete Doherty. Give Pete Doherty credit. Pete Doherty, in a very kind way, basically said, look, You throw pass, you throw pass, you throw pass. You get down into third and short and fourth and short. You throw pass, you throw pass. He basically said, look, when other things were working, why? He didn't go as far as to say, why are you passing the ball all the time? He wasn't a jerk about it. Rodgers said, I don't like where this line of questioning is going, but I respect it. And then he said, I'm not making those calls, but I like those calls. Did you hear it? In other words, it's not me. I didn't get away from the run. I didn't do that. He threw it right on at Matt. He's not being a jerk. He just said, I'm not making those calls. I like those calls. So he basically said, it's Matt's call. I like what our coach is calling. I like that, but it's Matt's call. It's not mine. Did you hear that? There you go. Going to step away, take a quick break. More of the Green and Gold postgame show coming up next.
This is the Green and Gold postgame show on the Wisconsin Sports Zone Radio Network.
Bill Michaels will resume in 3 minutes. Bill Michaels will resume in 1 minute. Bill Michaels will resume in 30 seconds.
brutal. This was ugly, man. Listen, I'm not fire guy, but Coach Berry's got to go. I mean, this is let Coach Gray take over at this point. I mean, this is ridiculous, man. It's third and 11, 12, 13 or something, and they're 15 yards off the ball.
Yep.
What are we doing here? And not only that, you got Rasul in the slot. Rasul's not a slot guy. He's a react outside cover corner. That's where he thrives. Jair is too damn athletic for you not to play him in the slot type rover position, if you will. I mean, it's insane to me. This defense has way too much talent to be this bad. It's inexcusable. As far as the offense goes, look, I don't know if Coach LaFleur overthinks things or Rodgers does, but when they are running the ball, Rodgers is getting the ball out quick, letting Dobbs do his thing, Cobb, Lazard, etc., and quick slants, things of that nature, they're unstoppable, man, because when Aaron Rodgers is in that mode of play action and stuff, he's the best ever at selling play action. Boomer Esiason was really good at it, but Rodgers is the best I've ever seen at it. And I don't understand this. Like a good example would be the Giants go 91 yards, right, in 8-9 minutes or whatever it was. What does Green Bay do to follow up their follow-up series? Incomplete deep, incomplete deep, incomplete deep. Well, what are we doing? Like this? And meanwhile, you got both your AJs sitting there going, dude, we're averaging like 6-7 yards a carry. Come on now. And I'm not saying you run the ball every play.
Right.
I mean, but I will say this: running the ball will win you games.
I agree. And that should be there. I appreciate the phone call because I got Mike coming on. But that should be their identity. As much as we talk about the pass, this almost you want to go back. And I'm not saying it has to be true West Coast, but yeah, the identity to run the football has to be more than you only running it the first couple of series, and then after that, getting away from it. Joining us now on the hotline, our buddy Mike Clemens. And Mike, this is one that just flat out got away from a man in so many different ways.
You know, what that caller was just saying right there, Connor, we've got this cut from Matt LaFleur, number one. We just got finished with some of the press conferences in London. Now, we don't want to play that in queue yet. In the second half, particularly, when the Giants go for 11 plays and 56 yards, trust me, the Giants are not trying to clock the game. They're trying to score. It's just it turned out that way. But you keep Aaron Rodgers off the field for the first 7 minutes of the second quarter. And Green Bay goes out there 3 and out. Then the Giants get the ball and they go 15 plays and 91 yards. They meant to score. They didn't mean to drag it out. That's just the way things played out. Plus the Packers had some penalties. Rodgers goes back in 3 and out. What changed? Well, according to Matt LaFleur, if Wink Martindale, the defensive coordinator, puts an extra guy in the box and tries to shut down your run or maybe contain Aaron Rodgers, he can just go man-on-man with Lazard and Cobb because he's not worried about speed. That's what gave them problems. Here's what LaFleur just said. Okay, I think Connor's having a little trouble with that. Yeah. Maybe you played in an Adobe. Do you think you have that, Connor?
We had a lot of run pass cans, and they played a lot of single high and manned us up. And it's, do you want to run into a loaded box or do you want to try to get it through the air? And unfortunately, that didn't work for us. So, like I said, give credit. Wink's a guy I got a lot of respect for, and he outcoached us in the second half, and they outplayed us.
Mike, the question has been, and I listened to Rodgers. Rodgers kind of said, Pete Doherty asked a great question. What I wanted to ask, who's calling these plays for run after run, pass after pass after pass after the run have been working? Matt LaFleur talked about Aaron Rodgers kind of checking into these plays, and Rodgers said, I'm not the one calling the plays, but I like the plays.
Right. So, and the second half is this: when offense goes 3 and out, when the Giants seem to keep moving the chains, the defense is going to get gassed. Now, is Aaron Rodgers checking into the right play at the line of scrimmage? Here's what LaFleur had to say.
No, Aaron does a great job with that stuff of calling what we want. No, not in our mindset, no.
It seems like one of the things that did work was to get the ball more to Randall.
I think it just kind of happened naturally. He took advantage. We thought, he won some matchups, and unfortunately we didn't get him the ball enough, obviously.
Mike, defensively speaking, not a great day for Joe Barry, the play calling defensively, when you're playing so far off the ball on the line of scrimmage on a 3rd and 13 and you're giving up 15 yards. I mean, the math just doesn't equal. And then they didn't have a great day just fundamental-wise either.
Brian Daboll, the head coach, came into this game with 7 players out of the game with injuries. He lost more to injuries. He had Saquon Barkley have to go in the locker room, then come back, and still they're lining him up in the red zone at quarterback in their Wildcat. I mean, it's unbelievable how you were able to outlast the Packers, who were pretty much healthy, with a bunch of practice squad guys. And Preston Smith was asked about, what happened to the Packers defense today.
I feel like we was playing pretty well overall, and then just we're allowing too many. We're making too many mistakes that a lot of teams capitalizing off of. But we're gonna settle down. It's a long season. We got 12 more games left. As crazy as that sounds, after 5, we got 12 more games left, and we got a lot of things we can fix going forward, and a lot of things we can work on to get back to that defense we were in training camp, or the defense we were known for being.
Mike, let me ask you this. A lot of criticism today of Joe Barry, and I think for the most part, rightfully so. It looks like it's been a soft defense. Is that what he's calling, or is this something completely different than what you saw, what we witnessed early on in training camp, like Preston Smith alludes to, where they were getting after the ball, they were aggressive? It seems like now they're just playing not to allow anything to get behind them.
Well, they don't seem to be able to put themselves in position to get any picks. They don't seem to be having extra time in terms of their tackles, or they're punching out the football like other teams are doing, except for Sean Gary, who continues to look strong, at least in the first half of the game, and getting in the backfield and stopping up and wrapping up on guys. There's got to be something that Joe Barry is doing that's not working, and it's either not being aggressive enough at getting after the quarterback. It's got to be in not figuring out where to take away the strength of a team, and to be able to make plays on the football. But that's just pathetic. I mean, that's a preseason team that took the possession of the football from you in the second half, and your team just is getting gassed, and it's got nothing to do with the travel or any of that other nonsense. And then now you got Jair in the locker room telling reporters right after the game, man, this can't happen, or we're going to lose again. Now listen to this question that Aaron Rodgers got in his post-game press conference.
Jair was just saying he's not concerned about the defense yet, but he will be if you guys lose next week. Are you concerned about the offense yet?
No. And frankly, I don't like all this conversation about losing next week. I'm a firm believer in the power of words and manifestation, and we got to check ourselves on that, because talking about that's not winning football. There was conversation about in the locker room, and I don't like it. And Ja's my guy, but we don't need to be talking like that. I understand there's a reality in this game, but there's a win and a loss every single game, but there's also a reality in life that what you're putting your energy towards, that's where your focus is going to go. So I'm not going to address prospects of losing up here other than we just lost this game. Offensively, we haven't put 2 halves together. There's a lot that factors into that. Everything from calls to execution, to the momentum, to defensive stops, to adjustments that we make that are good or shouldn't make. But it's a lot of execution. There's games like this where our defense is not going to be up to their normal standards, and we got to pick them up. We had chances, a lot of chances. So definitely the offense. This one will weigh heavy on us on this flight back.
Mike, it's interesting. I get it. He doesn't want to talk about losing. You want to stay positive, after today's game. But I think Jair Alexander is just kind of stating the obvious. He's like, look, we the adjustments, the things that they haven't done, first half versus second half, the fact that they're being outscored in the second half pretty consistently. I mean, there's a lot to nosh on here that, Jair Alexander's just kind of laying out there saying, this is what it is. And if we continue to do this, I'm going to become concerned.
There wasn't a good attitude all week. The head coach was uptight about the trip and the schedule and that thing, and he took a lot of questions about it, but he made a lot of it as well. And then you get into the game and you see things like McKinley standing right there in the flats, blocking Aaron Rodgers' pass, and Rodgers saying, I like the play call. I'll tell you what, you got out-coached this week.
Yeah, you did. No doubt. Mike, great stuff. We got all day tomorrow to break it down. We'll talk to you then, okay?
Thank you, Bill.
Appreciate it, pal. One more disappointing, sorry-ass time before we get out of here, before a crowd of 61,024 at Tottenham Stadium, Hotspur Stadium. It was the New York Giants 27 and the Green Bay Packers 22. We'll be back on it again tomorrow. Catch us all over there on Spotify, Apple iTunes, also on Google Podcasts. Always follow us on YouTube. You can follow us on Twitter as well. Packers fans, we'll live to talk another day, no doubt about it. Till then, we lick our wounds. Enjoy the rest of the day of football.